What's up, everybody? Brian Wagner, Dragzine here with Britney Britney's Automotive. What's going on, Britney?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Hey, we're at PRI. How much fun is this, right?
This is amazing. It's my first time here, and I'm having so much fun.
Sensory overload, right?
Yes, very, very much so.
On all levels. Yeah. Now, one of the cool things, though, that you're seeing about your first PRI is all the awesome hot rods here, right?
Yes, there are some sick rides here.
Totally. And I thought it'd be fun to kind of grab you and get your thoughts on them and some of them. You know, some of them, because people don't realize when you're at a booth working like you are, that you don't get to go check everything out, right?
No, you do not.
So now we're going to get to have some fun and look at some of the cars you like, but then I'm going to show you some cars you might not have seen to get your reaction from them as well. So let's wander around and look at some race cars. How's that sound?
Perfect. Let's go do it. To start, we're here at William Tetro's 70 Nova. He just revealed it this year at PRI, and this thing is so clean and beautiful. And believe it or not, he's actually going to take this thing out on the track and race it.
I know. You look at this car, I mean, look at this paint. Like,
I would be too scared to drive this on a track.
I'd like, yeah, just unreal. And let's do, you know, they say banana for scale. Let's do a Britney for scale. Stand by the car a little bit further back so people see how low this thing sits.
It's very low. I'm 5'7". It is below my hips. This thing is low.
Yeah. Now, you know, besides the paint, what's something else that sticks out? I want to hear what sticks out to this car for you besides the paint, of course.
I think the number one thing that sticks out, obviously, is come over here, the turbos down here, as well as, if you, not to mention the paint again, but if you look, there is several things that actually color match, like even the bottles inside the car.
Yeah, and the way that, you know, what do you think? Like, I love the way that the engine is the star of the club. I mean, look at all that, like, clean fabrication and the way that they kind of tied that Frankenstein intake, and that's pretty nice, isn't it? It's not just
the paint itself, it's the chrome on the inside. Even the headers look amazing, and that's something that you don't see on a lot of builds.
No, and it's when you see, you know, people joke about bad rides at SEMA, but here it's like the fabrication level it's no joke, right?
Insane, yes. This thing is very, very clean.
It's crazy as, you know, we walk around the car, just how low this thing sits to the ground. I mean, that's like, you couldn't fit a trapper keeper under there. I mean, that's ridiculous. And the cool thing is, they mentioned, I've heard they're going to do some no-time racing and some slick tire racing. They're going to do a little bit of everything with this. I mean, you know, I guess before we wrap it up on this one, what's the one word you would use to describe this car that just pops to your mind, like word association? Go. Insane.
Absolutely insane. Mainly because they're taking this out on the track, and I find that to be insane.
I agree. That's like, it's a show car. It's too pretty. Like, just, yeah. I mean, just that paint. I mean, look at like just how deep that is. It looks like if you touch it, it ripple like water, right?
Yes, literally. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty.
Well, we've wrapped up on this one. What do you say we go hunt some more cars?
Let's go do it. We're over here at Hoskins 79 Malibu, and I just wanted to come over here and show you guys this car because not only is this a really cool street car, it's built by Bill himself, and he is the best human on earth.
I was gonna say, he's got a brag board on it too that kind of tells it about it. But like, I mean, you can check out the stats on it, you know, and whatnot. So we'll let people look at that, kind of get the stats on it. He's built this car. I'll give my thoughts on. I'm a sucker for G-bodies. Yeah. I had one of these cars. It was one of the first cars I learned to drive as a kid. Was a 79 Malibu, or yeah, Malibu like this. Love these cars. This thing is just, it's so clean and so pretty, right?
It is. It's surprisingly clean when you get up close to it. A lot of these street cars, they're banged up. They're not the best looking, but Bill has put serious work into the body on this thing.
And it's quick. This is one of those cars that if someone doesn't know and they try to tangle with it on the streets of Mexico, they're going to get their feelings hurt.
Their feelings are going to be very hurt if they line up next to Bill.
I mean, you know, look under the hood of this thing and, you know, you see this, you know, it doesn't look nasty at all. I thought it's got a little bit of nitrous on it, but I mean, it just, the build, the way that he's approached this car is badass. And, you know, let's do a little bit of walk around. What do you think of like the way that he's kept the lines on the car?
I think that this is like the perfect old school street car right here. It's subtle. It's got all the stock interior.
Yeah.
And it's just very, very clean.
I mean, look at that. It looks like he just, you know, looks like he took the car that Grandma was driving to church and put a shifter in it and went about the day. Like, I mean, look at that plush interior. I mean, look at that. You know, it's just, it's so nice.
It very much is.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, looking at the paint on this car and just the way that he's done, you know, you got a little bit of rubber on there.
For any street car, like, come on now.
Yeah, but I mean, is this not like the kind of car that you like to see and is a favorite kind of car because it's so unassuming and looks great?
This is the kind of car that I love just because it's obtainable. It's relatable. A lot of people can do this. And you even have small details like the 79 inside of the Chevy symbol right here. That's awesome.
I call that period correct.
Yes.
Because that's like a cool touch that you would see someone that like one of these cars that was built back in the day, it would have stayed, you know, you would see that on there.
Yeah.
And this car looks good now, and it would look good, I think, in my opinion, 15 years from now, because it's just, it's not, you know, maybe change out the wheels, but it's a cool looking car that, like you said, it's obtainable.
Yes, and it has respect from years to come.
Yeah, and again, it's the only thing that's lacking, you know, even if he put a high and tight roll cage in it, you wouldn't be able to tell what this car was capable of till you rolled up on it, right?
Exactly.
Awesome car. So let's go check out some more cars.
Let's go do it. We're at Jim House car called the Guardian. This Camaro is very clean. It's a no prep Kings car, and it's so cool to actually see it in person.
I was gonna say, it's the Guardian. I mean, this car, it's a 2-time winner this year, and it's almost too pretty to be a no prep car, isn't it?
I know. This is another one that I would not want to take on the track. Like, but also you have the screw blower. Like, obviously it belongs on the track.
It's the old classic 3 feet of screw you sticking out of the hood power-wise, right? Now, you know, this is your first time seeing one of these cars like this in person, and it's funny, like, what are your thoughts when you hear people talk? You hear people talk a lot of trash on the No Prep Kings car. Now you see one of these in person. What's your thoughts seeing one of these in person the first time, like on the build quality?
The build quality, I mean, you would be shocked as to how much time you actually, the turnaround time, when you think about when a car breaks, you think it's just thrown together. This thing is not just thrown together. There's a lot of time and effort that goes into it.
So David Monday Race Cars built this car and did a great job. But I mean, you know, we walk around the car here and just, you know, look at how well everything's put together. I mean, one of my cool details is the way that on that damn mirror, look at that on the blower butterflies, how it's like almost matched to the color of the car.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of detail in this car. And me personally, I'd be too scared to talk any trash on this car.
And again, it's a steel roof, steel quarters car too. So it's like not a, I guess for, you know, so it's a pro mod-ish kind of car, but still, you know, steel roof, steel quarters. It's got like dimensionally, if you take the blower out, it just looks like a first-gen Camaro, right?
Yes, yes it does. It's definitely just a first-gen Camaro.
Yeah, just a street car, right?
Yeah, just a street car, a simple street car.
Now, what are some of the other things that stands out to you that makes this a car that got your attention? You know, what made you stop and go, hey, we need to talk about this car? Well,
if you know Britney Automotive very well, I feel like that speaks for itself. Bright orange, come on now, that's my favorite color. That's what I'm all about. So that's immediately what caught my eye.
No, yeah, it is definitely see it from space orange,
yes,
right?
Yes, it is, and that's my kind of orange.
Now, I guess the question is, you see something like this, if Jim walked up and said, hey, Brittany, you want to take it for a spin? Would it be hell yeah, or I don't know about that?
I think it would be, I'll get in the seat and I'll take a little cruise down the street, but I'm not going to be responsible for wrecking it.
you don't want to try to jump immediately behind the wheel of a car that's worth more than your house, right?
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, you know what? I say we go check out some more cars. What do you think?
Yeah, let's go do it.
Well, Brittany, you have somehow managed to talk your way into a vehicle here. You know, what are you sitting in?
This is the Southeast Gassers 55 Chevy named the Chick Magnet.
And it was funny, like, what was your first thought getting into this car?
Honestly, it's very roomy. Like, I don't have this much room in my street car.
There's so much room for activities, right?
Yes, there is.
And it's cool going from, you know, your typical, like, what we have 4th gen F bodies to one of these old school cars. Does it feel like this car's got a little bit more soul to it?
Oh, for sure. You know there's a story behind this car.
Yeah, and it's got the magical third pedal, and you got a shifter in there, so you could have all kinds of fun in this thing, am I right?
Oh yeah, you definitely could. And of course you got the glitter steering wheel.
Yeah, are you gonna throw that in the old Camaro now?
Probably not.
So I'm gonna pan back out to let you kind of do your deal and give my thing. I mean, look at this car. To me, what makes the Southeast Gasser stuff cool is it's period correct. You know, you got the straight axle. Just the whole look of the car is, you know, like, what are your thoughts when we were kind of walking around? You saw this car, you know, what'd you think when you first saw it?
I mean, it's your typical gasser, but it's old school. That's what makes racing. This is like the history of racing right here.
And to me, I love gassers because they're so wild to watch because they're just ripping gears and you never know what they're going to do, right?
Exactly. They're loud and they are the most rowdy part of racing, I would have to say.
Yeah, they're the closest thing to a fuel ultra you're going to get without nitro, just because of unpredictability. But I mean, just look at how, I'm just obsessed with these engines and just like you said, the history and the old school cool behind it, right?
Yes, yes, and you can see that it's very sleek under here. There's not a whole lot of mess. They get to the point and they stick to it.
And it's cool because of Southeast Gasser stuff, because the way Quain did, I mean, they build these cars to be period correct. And I mean, let's take a walk around the car. We'll make the car. I mean, you got the name on the side of the car, the logo, the look that they had back in the day with the cutout wheel well, the big tire. I mean, how cool is that?
That is a big tire.
That's a whole lot of meats, right?
Yes, and my favorite part has to be that all of this, you can tell, is hand painted.
Yeah, hand painted. I mean, that ain't a wrap. I mean, look at that whole deal. The old classic Who's Next line on it. I mean, and then I just noticed this. Look at the car right here. I mean, she's a runner. She's a track star.
Yeah, she's a track star.
She has picked up some stuff here. Let's swing a little wide here so we can show the folks the entire look of the car. I mean, come on. How could you not like a classic 55 Chevy with a clutch? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. This thing is insane. It's pretty cool.
Look at, just like you said, hand painted. I mean, just such a gnarly ride. Now, for me, this is the car. If I had the opportunity to jump in it, I would be like, you're gonna have to kill me to get me out of this car, because I'm gonna have some fun ripping gears in this car.
Yeah, this thing would be a lot of fun to drive, and I've never had the opportunity to drive a gasser or even get into the world of gassers, but I think that would be pretty cool.
I mean, yeah, a 5,000 RPM clutch dump, and you let that thing rip, and all of a sudden you're just in there trying to hold on for dear life, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, I think we've done a good job documenting the chick magnet and all of its glory. I think it's time to go check out another car. What do you think?
Let's go do it. We are currently at Randy Williams' Challenger. It is a No Prep Kings car, and once again, the paint is beautiful on this thing. It is a Pro Charged car, which I find to be significantly better than most.
I mean, look at the, again, when you look at this car, when I walked up on it, let's get back here a little bit, again, Britney for scale, stand beside it.
It's about as high as the Nova was.
Yeah, Britney for scale, low riding car, and the paint on this thing and the craftsmanship. I mean, how cool, this thing looks old school cool, doesn't it?
It's very old school cool, especially with the color and the white. A lot of people don't keep that white anymore because it gets dirty, but this thing, you can tell a lot of people put a lot of work into this thing, especially this interior.
Oh yeah, I mean, that, again, the build quality, they could have just made it, look like a race car per se, but I mean, just the overall quality of the build. You're looking, I mean, look, the gaps, just the stance of the car. It's again, we'll put this in the classification of the Nova as this is almost too pretty to race, right?
Yes, I would be way too scared to race this thing. This thing would sit in a garage and be a princess at shows, if anything.
Yeah, it's like a pro street pretty, right?
Yeah, pro street pretty, that's what it is.
But at the same time, I mean, just again, how low this car sits, and just the way that they tucked everything up in there. I mean, this is a functional race car that's like a piece of art.
Yes, it is. And it's ready to party with those wheels and tires on it.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely got the, what's crazy about the No Prep King stuff is they basically try to stuff the biggest wheel and tire underneath this car that they can.
Yes, they do. And you can hardly see the wheel and tire. From my point right here, you can't see it.
No, yeah, that's again how low that he's got this car sitting. And Randy's a good dude, educator, the whole thing he's got behind it, with Wizard Race Cars building this car. They do some awesome stuff. Now, again, would this be a car, if you're given the opportunity to take it for a spin, would Britney take it for a spin?
She would take it for a spin, but it would not be any full throttle spins, that's for sure.
Yeah, you want to get some practice time behind it, right?
Yeah, there would be a lot of seat time.
Hell, I don't know about you, but I would just want to sit in it and wrap the throttle with that Pro Charger to hit me in there, because that thing's going to get kind of rowdy and party, right?
It's going to be way rowdy.
Awesome car. We'll play the game again. Word association, Brittany, quick, go. What's the one word you associate with this car?
Oh no, badass.
I'll buy that for $1.
We are over here at Jay Fiskus Buick Grand National.
Is this car not just unbelievable?
I could see it from down the aisle. This thing is very clean. I say that about most of these cars, but it is. It is insane how clean a black car can be, especially under this lighting.
And just the whole, you walk up in this car and it just grabs your attention because of the black look, how low it sits, and then it's got, still has the Grand National V6 in it. How awesome is that?
That's incredible that they're keeping it original.
And you know, you walk around the car here, and like, come over to this side, Brittany. Again, we'll do Brittany for scale to see how low is this one.
It's a little bit taller, but it's still very, very low.
Yeah, I mean, you get down low once again, and it's got that mean stance. Can't beat that with a stick. And then, I mean, look at this craftsmanship. Tin Soldiers built this car. I mean, what do you think of, like, just look at these turbo headers and everything? What are your thoughts on that?
Tin Soldiers does amazing work, and those are some of the best welds I have ever seen.
I know. And here's what's spoiling me. Think about this. This is just the stuff that we could see. Imagine the stuff that we can't see, how nice that looks. I think the gentleman has opened the door for us. Okay. Let's take a look inside. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Take a look inside there. I mean, how awesome is that? Look at the dash. I mean, it's an airbrush dash, but it's just the little stuff like that. Just how clean all the fabrication is, you know?
I said one of the No Prep Kings car was clean inside. This one beats it by miles.
Here's a little detail a lot of people would not catch. Look at the bead rolling that they did on the trans tunnel. Like, they could have just left that flat, but no, just that little extra, like, touch just makes it look that much better.
Yeah, they definitely put a lot of time into this car.
And the cool thing, again, is it's an original Grand National that, you know, they still kept the V6 turbo setup in it. And Dave's other, you know, Cheeseburger, the Mustang, is a pretty quick car. But this thing, you know, he was telling me when I did the article on it, they're turning this thing up. And it's going to be wild to see what this car can do, right?
It's insane that it's a V6.
Yeah. And, well, here's what's crazy, Brittany, is the heads that are on this car are actually Buick Motorsports heads. Now, might be a little, I guess, old for what you remember, but back in the day, like Buick Motorsports stuff, you could go to a Buick dealership and buy the heads that are on this car over the counter.
Yeah.
So it's no trick, fancy CNC, new tech stuff. This is like parts that are probably almost as old as what I am on a car that's going to run 4s in the 8th mile.
This is old school fast.
And as our buddy Barrett Green puts it, the buzz and half dozen. Best name ever for it, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we've got one more car to check out. What do you say we do some walking?
Let's go do it.
What do we got here?
This is Jeff Martin's Chevy 2.
And again, we walk up on this car and it's like, holy work of art, Batman, right?
It really is. These cars are works of art sitting in here.
And again, we got to do Brittany for scale.
Oh, yep. It's still pretty low.
Yeah. It's very, you're going to have to definitely do a dive in to get in that car, right?
Oh, yeah, you are.
So we walk up on this car. Again, you haven't seen this yet. What was the first thing that popped in your mind when we saw this car when we rounded the corner?
To say it nicely, holy crap, because this purple is literally shiny.
It's like, you don't see a lot of cool, like, purplish blue race cars. And again, you see, I guess the thing that I look at this is you can immediately tell craftsmanship and how nice it is.
Yes, you can.
And it's the way that they've, you know, obviously we're trying to figure out what power adder it was real quick. I'm like, I look down, I'm like, oh, I see turbo stuff. But let's take a little walk around the car here. And, you know, what are some of your other thoughts about this Nova as we look at it?
I mean, let's go to the interior real quick.
Yeah.
This thing.
Oh, we got another nice interior, right?
Yes, we do.
Oh, and I see a Liberty. Yay!
Yes, we do. We see a Liberty in there.
A lot of fun.
Yes.
And I guess the other cool thing about these cars is it's a steel roof and steel quarters car, right? So the underpinnings, it's a nasty race car, but it still maintains those like classic dimensions, right?
Yes, it's nice to see cars that still keep some of the stock parts rather than just completely changing the body.
Yeah, you know, I like anything loud, fast, and dangerous, and to a point, you know, you see some of like the top sportsman cars and some of the other pro mods where they look Nova-ish.
Yes.
This looks like, you know, you take away the screamers on the side and the exhaust, and it could look like, you know, a typical Saturday cruiser, right?
Yes,
almost like a street car, but
yeah. Look
how much wheel tuck they got on this thing.
Oh yeah, this one's probably the most wheel tuck I've seen on any of the cars today.
Yeah, like, you see a lot of Novas, a lot of these Chevy 2s, and that thing's low. Yes, that's like, you know, lowrider low. That's insane. But I mean, just look at how well that they put this whole car together. You know, again, the way they, you know, I'm a fan of a painted spoiler. What do you think?
Yeah, I am too. or carbon fiber, one of the two.
Yeah, it integrates in so nicely, and just the car overall is just badass. Yes, totally.
Yes, that would probably be my one-word answer on that.
Yeah, you look at it, it's just like, wow. I mean, well, here we go. Look at the wheel tubs in the back window.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even notice those.
Yeah,
those literally, there's probably 3 inches from the roof there.
Well, that tells you, looking at the wheel tubs, how much meat is under the rear of this car. Look at that.
There's a lot.
I mean, when you can look at the gap between I don't think we can barely fit a ruler between the gap of those wheel tubs.
Yeah, I don't think so.
All the tractions, right?
Yes.
Well, we've got some more stuff to do. There's so many more cars here. I don't think we can get them all on video, so I think we're gonna have to get back to work. But Brittany, thanks so much for being on the show. Britney Automotive, check them out. Thank you for being my co-host as we invade PRI.
Well, thank you for having me. These cars are sick here.